Hey guys, I'm Kelly and this is my channel Incredible Anyway, where I talk about how to live an incredible life no matter what your circumstances are. In this video we're talking about chronic illness, disability, and dating, and I have my good friend Shanna here with me. We're going to talk about this together and answer some of your questions. Shanna loves vintage and flea marketing, and she has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome and POTS, and she has a golden doodle service dog. As we're talking about dating, this is just two people's experiences, and like anything that's related to chronic illness and disability, experiences are going to vary from person to person. So this is literally just our experiences, and that's going to be, unique to our health issues, but also our age and everything in between. So after you have put your profile up and you start getting the likes or the messages or whatever it is, then you're going to want to decide who do you want to talk to. And as you're communicating with them, that's kind of when naturally talking about your disability, your chronic health issues are going to come up.
Once you decide you're going to talk to somebody's messaging you, or you start the conversation, it's a natural flow. Hopefully you don't jump in talking about your disability. Hopefully you're getting to know somebody. To me, online dating ideally is like a virtual meeting in a coffee house or a bar, or whatever your virtual mindset is, and you're sitting there having a conversation.
Right.
Maybe it's, hey, how was your day? But then you're like, what movies are you into, and what's your favorite travel memory, and what's your, I don't know, whatever generic conversations you're into. But then maybe that leads into, gosh, I'm really into hiking, and you can't hike. And that's a natural lead into, I really could do this accessible trail with you, and that'd be really fun someday. So then you start imagining, doing this accessible hike with this person, so that's a natural segue into discussing your disability, but there's these natural segues that can lead into sharing if it's the right person.
Right.
You can't force these things, or else it's not the right time. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And if you said it out, if you all of a sudden said something about your chronic illness or disability, that might sound weird. I mean, if you imagine you're sitting across from somebody, you wouldn't all of a sudden blurt out, well, I have migraines every day and I spend a lot of time in bed, and it would be kind of an awkward place to talk about it. But for me, a lot of times when in the conversation and the messages, a lot of times when it comes up is when somebody's talking about their own occupation. So they're talking about what they do for work, and then their natural question to me is, well, what do you do? Or where did you go to school? Or what did you go to school for? So inevitably that leads to me talking about, well, I don't work, and this is why. And I'm maybe not lay out every single reason why I don't work, but give enough that it answers the question or gives them a little bit of information, but not so overwhelming that they just feel like they just got the weight of the world dumped on them, right? Being kind of choosy about what I share, because there's plenty of time to share more.
That kind of circles back to, it's all personal, and it's all 100% personal again,
right.
But it circles back a little bit to profile. And that exact scenario is one reason why I put under occupation disabled, because I got overwhelmed with the first question being, so what do you do? 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 And I'm not a content creator. I don't have anything like that I do. So I put disabled under that, hoping they don't ask that right away, that we can get to that. Like, get to know me a little bit before I tell you my story, because I do have a story, and I do have interesting information to share.
Absolutely, right.
And I do things. I have things that I fill my time with, I do have substance. I have a life story, but let me work that in. Don't say, so what do you do? It's heavy for me, so I don't like that as the first question. So putting disabled there did get a workaround.
It's a way actually for you to have more control.
It does. It changes the narrative. It changes the narrative for me. So that's my safe space there. So I like that. It's different for everybody. I like that conversation control from the one to the other. Of course, if men don't read your profile, it doesn't
It's true.
work.
That's true.
Men, please read my profile.
We put energy and time into it, and a lot of thought. Before I actually put that line in there that I want the person to see that I'm more than my disability, it was a complete shock. Like now they have an indication of it, whereas before there was nothing in my profile, not even the photos. I didn't even have a photo of me and Benny that would indicate that I had a disability, and it was really stressful. I felt a lot of anxiety, and maybe this won't be true for other people, but I felt a lot of anxiety, like, oh no, I'm gonna share this, and then are they gonna reject me? And that was a big fear, to feel like, are they gonna reject me because of this? And I felt if I put that line in my profile, then they will reject me before without me ever knowing it, right? Like if they decide that they don't want to interact with me because of my disability or date me because of my disability, well, fine, they chose it before. But if I'm already invested and I'm talking with them, that got to be really a lot. So then when I shared it, waiting for that message back was like, it was a lot.
I like a preparation.
Yeah, and I think that having something in my profile is a preparation for the messaging. I've kind of gotten closer to where Shanna's my dating guru. So.
Oh lordy, that's terrifying.
It's true, but I have gotten closer to that.
That's kind of an interesting point too, is you start off one way and you kind of alter as you go. Mm-hmm. I mean, these profiles aren't permanent. You put them up there and then you could change them every day. Get some experience, have some interactions, and just constantly change them based off of what you're experiencing. I was really on a roll.
I'm sorry.
I've changed mine a million times.
Yeah.
You just mentioned how you've changed yours.
Mm-hmm.
And it just depends on what you're experiencing, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a good thing to gain experience and change your profile based on that experience. I think that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm. And figure out where your comfort levels are, what you share and what you don't share. And
right.
I think it's really hard. I think it takes a lot of courage to do online dating, period, without chronic health issues and disability, and then you add this onto it, and then you add another layer of complexity. For me, I think there's that fear of rejection, period, but then adding the chronic illness and disability is something that somebody could reject me for. But I think that the reality is that that's gonna happen. I mean, people are gonna be interested in you and people aren't, and that's okay. If somebody's not interested in you, well, there's gonna be somebody else that is. Yep. I think that there have been times where I've been surprised. Like recently, I was talking to a guy who had quadriplegia, and I thought the conversation was going really well, and then he asked me questions about my own disability and health issues, and I shared them, and then he just ghosted me. And so there could be a lot of reasons why, but it feels like to me, because I talked specifically about those chronic health issues and my disability, that was related to that. And somebody else who understands disability, somebody else who is disabled, it happened. I was ghosted by somebody, who is in the same situation, not similar situation as me. And that was terrible. I hated it.
Stuff happens. Yeah. I'm not downplaying it.
No, yeah, absolutely.
There's going to be, I feel like I'm being really negative. Like,
no.
That's gonna happen.
That's
You're
what
gonna run into
I think it be.
It is realistic, but there's also going to be wonderful things because, like you just said, there's more people out there.
Yeah.
There's going to be fun conversations. There's going to be friends made. There's going to be compliments found that are going to make you feel really good.
Yeah.
And it's going to be hard, but it's going to be neat too.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah, even though we were talking about it being stressful, it definitely is fun. And everything she said, I completely agree with. It feels good when you hear somebody tell you, I mean, especially coming from a situation of not having been in a relationship for a while, having somebody tell you these things about you that they believe, it's really cool, and it feels good. And I mean, I've had great conversations with men that I never went on a date with because we realized, we aren't compatible in this area, but we both really had a good time talking. So worked out. It can be a good fun thing. There have been times where I was messaging with somebody and I was really having a day where I just did not feel well. And there are some men where I felt comfortable saying, hey, I'm not feeling well today. I'm not able to talk, or there will be days when I can't respond back as fast as I might otherwise. And then there are some men I just didn't say anything. I didn't give any explanation. So I think it's like whatever you're comfortable with, and it may not be across the board. It may be with the specific person that you're talking with. You do you. You do what is comfortable for you. Never let anybody else, dictate what you decide to do. Thank you guys so much for watching this video on chronic illness and disability and dating. If you have any questions for us, let us know in the comment section. If you have a video request, let us know. I am Kelly.
And I'm Shanna.
And you are not alone. Bye, guys.
You are not alone in this world. You are not alone. You are not alone in this world. You are not